Really excited to talk to you guys and give an update on our Google Live Transfers product that we have been in the wild working on since March of this year. I mean, obviously predating this, a lot of different work on experimentation and such. But, I think that, and so we really wanted to do like a quick webinar. We're not going to hold you for an hour here, right, guys? Like this is going to be, I'm timing ourselves 30 minutes,
All
right?
right.
Talking about Google Live Transfers. And, I think that the point I always make to clients when they're asking me, like, what's the best marketing I can do? And, what are the best leads? Is it depends on when you're asking me, right? Like, what are the innovations that are happening in this space? Because it's never just Google, it's never just Facebook, it's never just YouTube. Products are changing all the time, right? And the product that I like to refer this back to all the time is Google Local Services ads, right? Google Local Services ads, for you guys don't remember, they're ads right on top of Google that shows the pictures of realtors when someone types in a realtor keyword, right? That product came out in 2021, and for about 6 to 9 months there were no better leads that you could generate than Google LSA leads. These are people who are consumers typing in, I want to talk to a realtor, clicking on a call button and calling you, right? And then everyone started doing it. And then it became not bad. I mean, they're producing a lot of good leads, but you're just not getting as many of it, right? You went from getting 50 list me now leads to 5, right? And the reason I'm so excited about Google Live Transfers is that it feels a lot like LSA, in the quality of leads we're generating and in the types of conversations we're having. I would say the only and the reason I bring that up is because we want our clients on it as soon as possible, because at some point a lot more people are going to do this, right? Because it's just that good right now, kind
Yeah.
of staring in disbelief at the numbers, and so we want to give you this update, because we want as many clients trying this out and leveraging this as soon as possible. And hopefully it has a lot more staying power because of the ability for us to control the media spend, than LSA. But it's harkens to that level of excitement for me in terms of the quality that we're seeing.
Well, and actually, that was my experience with LSA. I was the first person in my market literally to have it because you guys were on the cutting edge, and so I jumped right on. And man, for like 6 months, it was incredible. And then it just, it got crowded. What can I say? It got crowded, and so I feel like, to your point, this moment in time, hopefully it's a long time. Hopefully it's longer than 6 months. But this is one of those things where if you can get in your market and get these leads, and I believe G is going to show us how this works, you'll see why it's such a big deal. You're going to have a lot of runway the way that I did with Google LSA.
Yeah, 100%. So let's get into it. So at the highest level, we don't do just Google ads, we don't do just Facebook ads, right? Every one of these behemoths are very nuanced. And the reason I'm explaining that is that there are ways to generate really high quality, low volume leads who are ready to go, obviously more expensive. And there are ways to generate really high volume, nurture leads, right? People who are going to take a long time or a longer time to transact, right? And and we are always looking at this seesaw of like how do we balance a client's marketing portfolio to attack this with a focus on lead conversion ROI, right? And at the highest level, and this has been true since 2009 when I started in lead generation and marketing in the real estate space with Tiger Lead, right? The most valuable Google search query you can get is someone typing in realtor near me, right? That
Yeah.
is someone who is in the shopping phase of home buying, right? They're not just looking for homes, they're shopping. They are unattached. These people are looking for a realtor, meaning they're not working with a realtor right now, right? And a significantly higher percentage of them are sellers versus buyers of the type of people who are looking for homes for sale, right? So Google's not dumb. They realized this, right? And they said, wait a minute, why am I letting, agents just bid for a keyword like, realtor near me? So in 2021, they launched Google Local Services ads. And again, this is where if you type in Los Angeles realtors, then you are going to see a list of realtors on the bottom here. And when you get a phone call from a consumer, Google charges you dollars for that, right? And so instead of paying on a cost per click basis, you are paying on a cost per lead basis, which makes Google more money, but also makes you more money because these are actual ready to buy consumers that are getting on the call, right? And so Google Local Services ads, the problem with them is they can only show two, three realtors at a time, right? And so when you had 1,000 realtors in Los Angeles all vying for these spots, the lead volume just dried up, right? We have a Google LSA product. We manage it for our clients. We do a ton of great optimization work. And the biggest complaint we have from clients is not it's not working. It's how do I get more leads, right? And so we've always been on the hunt for a way to generate LSA quality leads. People were looking for realtors, but at a higher volume, right? And the Google has consistently said, well, how do I monetize these visitors better, right? And they started out by doing Google LSA and pushing the Google search ads underneath them, right? So if you on your desktop view, for instance, you type in realtor near whatever area you're in, you're going to see Google local services ads up on top, and then you're going to see search results on the bottom, right? Well, look what Google is doing now. So this is a search I did on my phone, snapshotted it, and I wanted to show you what the experience looks like now when you type in Los Angeles realtor or realtor near me. So here's the keyword. Here's your Google local services ads. And what's on the bottom here? Google Maps, right? So now they're showing you prioritized list of Google Maps results with all of these agents. And what's the number one call to action? Call this phone number, right? Now,
Right.
why would Google do that? And it's because I'll fast forward to that in a second. These ads on Google Maps are sponsored results now, right? And so these are people who are paying to be at the top of Google Maps versus organic listings, right? And so they have found that it is more profitable and a better user experience for consumers instead of showing you search ads, right? To actually surface agents and show you their Google My Business profile and get consumers to call in, right? And so these are Google Maps ads. And Google Maps gets interacted by about 30 to 50% of mobile searchers. So if you're a consumer is typing in realtor near me, 30 to 50% of them end up on Google Maps. And Google now has the ability for you to run these ads on Google Maps, right? And that's been the transformative experience. Now, we've been running these ads since March. We're doing it at scale now, and we track every detail of leads that go through the Ylopo platform, right? And so again, the core experience for these consumers are that they type in a realtor related keyword, they get to the map result, they click on one of your sponsored ad, and they see your business profile, they click the call button and they call you, right?
Right.
About as good and clean of an experience as there is, right? And so we analyzed the leads in the last 5 months, and we basically segmented them out to Google Homes for Sale, people looking for homes for sale, Google Local Services ads, and Google Maps, people who are looking on the Maps function and we're advertising it to them, right? And on the Ylopo side, because we have all of your CRM data, we categorize leads into qualified, meaning they're legitimately looking for real estate. Let's say they're in a hot disposition, right? In your CRM under 6 months, which is that they disposition their leads as A's under 6 months, whatever it is, and then pending and sold. Most obvious scenario, right? And here's the interesting facts around these leads. For Google Homes for Sale leads, and these are nurture leads, right? So they're 17% qualified, 5% looking under 5 months. That makes sense. And in that time period, 0.3% of them closed, right? Now that's not bad, because the cost per lead of these leads is really low, right? So you can get a lot of them, and 5% are looking under 6 months. More of those will close over time, right? Google Local Services ads, 16% qualification rate, 7% pending under 6 months, and pending and sold 2%. Pretty darn good, right? And that's a $60 cost per lead. For the Google Maps ads, and this is why I think Barry and I are so excited about this in terms of the gold rush, so to speak, right? For calls that we transfer over that are valid, we're seeing a 30% qualification rate. Almost 15% of those have are looking under 6 months. And just in the last 5 months, this is 5 months of aging, guys, we're getting a 4.8% conversion rate. That's nuts. That's like portal level quality in terms of the leads that are coming through,
And
right?
one thing, G, that I think is important for everybody to see here, this is where you guys pulled all of the follow-up boss. You pinged all the follow-up boss accounts that are Ylopo customers. That's where you got this data,
That's
right?
right.
Yeah.
That's right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So yeah, and so what you guys are seeing is a clear visual description of consumer intent. The more intentional the person is in their search criteria, the more likely they are going to be able to just call you and say, "I need your help," and so they're closing more.
100%. Now, the cost per lead of these leads, $150, is obviously much higher than all these other profiles, right? We'll talk about that in a second. But keep in mind, these are all inbound phone calls, right? So you're not chasing the consumer, you're not calling them 5, 7, 10 times, all of that stuff. These are inbound calls coming into you, right? So we'll talk more about that in a second. So the thing to understand about Google Maps ads is that it's not, the consumer isn't just clicking on your link and then giving you a call, right? They're analyzing your brand, right? And so having a great Google My Business profile is super important here, right? And so I'm going to talk through the optimization processes, right? This is a great looking Google My Services ad. They have photos, they have reviews, they have all of their listings built in, right? Imagine if you ran the same ad and it looked like this right here. You're probably not calling this person, right? So part of the infrastructure of Google Live Transfers is that we're going to take your business my profile page, we're going to dial it up to the next level, right? We're going to make it look beautiful. We're going to add all of your related listings and products, all of your blog articles, all of your reviews, and all that kind of stuff, right? That's kind of table stakes. So that's the first thing we're going to do, right? The second thing we're going to do, in addition to optimizing all of your ads and making sure it performs really well, which is all the behind the scene magic that we're doing, we're going to field all of these phone calls for you, right? So when a consumer calls, it's going to call into the Ylopo call center. We're going to vet that call and we're only going to transfer you the calls that are valid, right? Why is this so important? The first is answer rate, right? You are paying for these phone calls. And so if you don't pick up, you're losing money, right? And we've seen the data. It's like less than a 50% pickup rate when these leads are coming in if we're not fielding the calls ourselves. The second is obviously Google is going to algorithmically prefer those people who pick up calls, right? Because they want to have great user experience for consumers. And so they want you to pick up, pick up, pick up, pick up, right? The problem with Google Maps ads is you get a lot of spam calls, right? These are people who are looking up your Google My Business profile. They're seeing it, your website's there or their phone number's there, and they're just going to call you about being a vendor, essentially, right? And so 75% of the calls coming in that we see are what we consider spam or irrelevant calls, right? So I just took a snapshot. We actually record every single call that we get from, Google Live Transfers, and I have my team disposition those calls to know which calls we're transferring you and which calls we're keeping, right? This is just calls from a snapshot of 620, right? One day, less than a day. And look at this disposition. You've got spam call, non English speaker, hunt up, rental, blah, 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 blah. Only the leads on the right hand side in this row here are the leads that we actually transfer to you and are part of that $150 inbound call, right? Look at the descriptions: looking to sell, questions about the property deed, client referral, real estate investor looking to sell, first time buyer. Pretty sure you want all of those leads, right?
Absolutely.
And so we're going to go scrub out all of this spam, all of this non-relevant calls, and we're only going to give you the gold, right? So it's the combination of picking up the phone and actually fielding the calls and being available, and then also scrubbing out the calls that are irrelevant to you, right?
Yeah.
So with Google Live Transfer, we're running this alongside Google LSA. So we will still manage your Google LSA too. Those are great leads, right? But in addition to that, we can run Google Maps ads for you. The other benefit of Google Maps ads is we've been actually able to spend the dollars that you give us, right? With LSA, the problem has always been you want to spend $500 a month, you want to spend $1,000 a month. Well, sorry, we're only able to spend $100 this month because there just weren't enough impressions, right? Google Maps, because it is newer from an advertising format perspective, there's a lot of inventory there. There's not a lot of competitors. We're able to actually spend through large budgets, right? And what we're seeing here is consumer clicks on the ad, they click on the call button, they get to our call center experience. We transfer those leads to you. We scrub out the 75% of non-relevant calls, right? And we leave you with the gold, right? And again, what we're seeing is the average cost per high quality transfer that we're sending over, it's about 150 bucks, right? The reason, because we scrubbed out the 75% that are not relevant to you. We're only looking at the highest quality leads we can transfer over, right? And of those, 30% are qualified buyers, sellers, 15% are looking under 6 months, and we've already pended 5%, in less than 6 months, right? And if you do the ROI analysis on this, right? If you had it was $150 per live transfer, you got 20 leads. That's $3,000 in advertising spend, right? We charge a $350 platform fee for this because we're fielding the call center, we're managing your ads, we're doing all this kind of stuff, which we waive for 60 days. So you can, when you get on this product, we're not going to charge you a tech fee, right? We just want you to try this. If you got 20 leads at a 5% close rate, and that's, by the way, just in 5 months. These, obviously, you guys know you're going to get more closings over time. Remember, 15% of these people are looking to buy and sell in the next 6 months, right? At an average convert or commission or a home sale price of 425,000, that's a $10,000 $500 commission check, right? So just off of what we're seeing in 5 months data, I'm not counting all of your future closes, we're already seeing over 300% ROI for our clients on this product, right? And that's about as good as you're going to get with a lead generation product that takes less than 6 months to incubate, right? I mean, you can see high ROIs from that from a PPC perspective, etc. if you have a 2 year lens, but to have a 3 to 5 month lens to look at this data, I haven't seen this since LSA.
Well, yeah, I mean, look, the higher the intent is, so if you're a consumer and if you're searching for a realtor near you, I think everybody agrees that that's a high intent. But when you're searching for it in Google Maps, I don't know about you guys, but when I use Google Maps, I'm ready to buy something. I'm ready to do something. And in my experience as a lead conversion teacher, the better or the higher the intent with the lead, really the less skill is needed on behalf of the real estate agent because you go from having to like massage the conversation to just basically taking an order. We do have a bunch of questions. You want me to wait until the end?
Uh, sure, no, go for it.
Okay. So Steven just said basically when you compare the $1,000 leads from like Zillow Concierge to 150, that the cost isn't that bad. One person asked, $200, is this service in addition to the $200 a month Google My
It
Business
is
service?
not. No, you basically get for the 350, you get it all. You get LSA management, you get the GMB, you get the Google Live transfers. We're just trying to bundle everything to reduce the confusion. It's essentially our platform cost for this category of live transfer leads,
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
it's all baked in, and
Okay.
you can spend as much media as you want.
And then Monique is asking, how do you oh, well, actually Mark had a follow-up question. So you don't need the LSA platform fee as well.
This is your platform fee just becomes 350. That's it.
Got it.
Yeah.
And then let's see. How do you register if it's a good lead? Monique is asking.
How do you register if it's a good lead?
Basically, like, the lead, when you guys are transferring, is there a qualification process that you guys are going over? I guess the ISA when they answer, right? That
Yeah, the ISA vets it, right? They will send you a note, basically of why we live transfer it to you, and they're essentially vetting that it's a quality real estate conversation before they send it over to you, right? And so this is different in that we're not asking them their time frame and all this kind of stuff because it's not a prospecting lead. This is someone that's calling you, so it's a
Yeah.
fairly nuanced conversation. So we capture the notes from the call, we transfer it over to you, and you will receive the notes and follow-up boss of that entire conversation,
Yeah.
right? So it is highly qualified, and we disqualify all the spam. And the leads do come into you with one phone number. You set up the follow-up boss pond essentially that it goes into, and you can save that number so you always know it's a Google Live transfer.
Mhm.
And if it's not successfully transferred because someone didn't pick up, then we obviously leave the note to the assigned agent that this call occurred. Our
Mhm.
recommendation is, because these are such high valuable leads, just like you would with a Zillow or Realtor.com, set
Mhm.
up a pond with several people that it rings to so that you don't miss any opportunities, right? So it's a first to claim model.
Yeah, and that's the follow boss inbox number that you're talking about, right?
That's right.
Yeah,
Yes.
yeah. And gosh, so many questions.
Yeah.
Well, let's keep going, and then hopefully you'll answer some more of these.
Well, that was actually it. My God, this is the
Oh,
shortest
that's
webinar we've
amazing.
ever done, Barry.
All right, that's amazing. That's amazing.
Left-hand side here, if you want to get started, set up with Google Live Transfers, just scan this QR code. We have people on staff who are experts on this, obviously, to talk you through the nuances of this. So on the right-hand side QR code, schedule a call to actually talk to us about the product. So keep this up here. Honestly, it's one of those products that doesn't need a lot of explanation. Someone types in realtor related keyword, sees you on Google Maps, and calls you and wants to get more information. We scrub out the bad calls and we send you all the good ones. You pay $150 ish per live transfer, and we charge you a small platform fee for that. That is, which is waived for 60 days. That is it. Pretty straightforward, right?
You're
But
waiving the platform fee for 60 days as a soft launch to this program.
that's right. We want all of your money to go toward media. We want to prove this product out to you, so we're not charging you any fees in the first 60 days. And if you don't like it, you can cancel anytime, right? And it doesn't work sometimes for clients, right? We've seen in certain markets, I don't know if you're in like somewhere more rural, whatever, people don't search on Google Maps as often. That happens, right? And so we are able to tell fairly quickly if a market is going to work or not. And so we will stop your marketing after spending a certain amount of money if it's not working. And we'll actually reach out to you and say, hey, we don't think this is a good fit. Right now, 75% of our clients, it is doing really well for, right? And so that's part of the 60-day window. We want to make sure you try it, see if it actually works in your market. Don't want to waste a lot of your dollars if it's not working. And hopefully it does. And then obviously we would only charge fees after that 60-day window,
Yeah.
right?
Okay. Yeah. And so at the highest level, guys, this is a bottom of funnel Google product. A couple people asked about like limiting. Um like does Google limit the number of real estate agents in a given market? How does that work?
It does not. Yeah. So that's what the beauty of this product is that it's algorithm bidding based, right? So we are actually saying, I want to bid for this impression. I want to show up at this time, right? And so that gives us a lot more latitude versus Google LSA, where it's just like, you show up or you don't, right? And so we have a lot more control. And because there's, again, not a lot of people doing this right now, there's a lot of impressions to be had, right? So we haven't had an issue of spend through on this platform. We're able to display you, and Google obviously limits there to be a certain number of ads at any given time, but we haven't really run into limits yet.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
that's kind of where it is right now. So yeah, let me just blaze through this, Barry. So is there a contract involved? No contract. You can 30 days cancel anytime. Just try it out. Are you allocating one or two realtors in the same county? No, we're not. We're open game here, in terms of enrolling people. Um, Google LSA, you answer the calls and fight for bad ones on the back end. Yeah, so you cannot get refunds for bad calls with this product. You're paying Google on a per click basis. So when someone clicks on your ad, you're paying for it, right? And so there's no dispute process for these leads, but you just got to look at it in aggregate, right? If you're seeing enough good leads over bad leads, if you're converting 5% over 5 months, you're going to be pretty happy with the math, right? But there's no dispute process.
Yeah.
Can we do a round robin setup for so our teams can pick up? Yes, you set up a follow boss pawn, you put all your agents in it, and that way, a lead comes in, whoever claims it first gets that lead. Um, is it 20 leads per month or 20 leads over 6 months? So that's really just a function of your budget. We're recommending our clients put in about $1,000 a month minimum of media to this platform. It could be as low as 600 bucks. We need at least 600 to get the algorithm going. So you're getting 4 to 10 leads a month, essentially, from this product is our minimum, but we have clients that are spending like 5, 10 grand on it at the same time, right? So if it's really working for you and you're seeing the ROI right away and you're getting cash on cash returns, meaning you spend, you get the lead, you close the lead, you can reinvest more into the product, then spend more dollars, right? So there's not really a ceiling to it.
Yeah.
We are not use this is important. We are not using AI to qualify these leads. The conversations are very nuanced. We want to make sure that we're having a live human talk to them because these conversations can go 5, 10, 20 minutes, right? I'm not saying they always do, but it is a nuanced conversation and there's a lot of spam, right? And so we actually leverage real humans in our human call center to field these calls. They're qualifying and disqualifying it. Um, and it is not a $150 flat fee. That is just the average of the cost per qualified call that we're seeing nationwide. Some people are lower, some people are higher. You'll know in the first 30 days what that math ends up being. And if all of your reviews are on Zillow and my GMP is not updated, do I qualify? This is one of the benefits of this product. You don't need 1,000 good reviews on Google in order to rank highly and show yourself like Google LSA. We actually, we want to improve your Google My Business page, make it look really good, probably have a couple reviews on there, right? But even if you have 5 reviews versus the guy that has 1,000, you're still going to be able to get calls and traffic, right? We haven't seen a correlation there. Um, Whoa,
Yeah, and
so many
I think
questions. Any other ones jump out, Barry?
well, I think the big difference, between LSA and this live transfer product, to your point, it's like with LSA, it was just pay money, you get calls. But in this scenario, we actually have the Ylopo marketing team bidding against other advertisers to get these phone calls. So you guys have more control over the how many calls we're getting and everything like that. So I think this is really Google's. It's a logical next step to the learnings from the LSA program. And the thing that I hated about LSA was it got so crowded, and then you had to play the whole Google game and get more reviews, and it was really difficult. With this though, it's basically pay to play, which honestly to me is it's more fair.
Yeah, I think so. It's just like more like a typical Google product, right? You're just bidding. You want to have a good landing page, obviously, which is a Google My Business profile, and then we're just budget management from there, right? Optimizations from there. Um, so clarify, yeah, like the $600 is media, right? And so you're not paying the 150 on top of that. We're just spending the $600, and there is a $350 management fee that will kick in after 60 days if you keep the product, essentially.
Yeah. So in that
Um,
example, Arendina, or sorry, I'm just butchered your name, Arendira. Right now you pay 600 bucks, you're going to get 4 leads. Eventually, you're going to have to pay us to actually do our work, $350 a month. So then it would go 600 in ad spend, but you would pay $350 for the whole Google suite of us managing your profile and all that other stuff. But we're waiving that right now just to get you some wins, just to get you, make you maximize the $600 a month, to get you some deals to help you cover this platform fee after the 60 days is up.
that's right. Yeah, exactly right. And we will always come from a phone number you recognize that you save on your phone, so you make sure it's coming from the right number. And we also answer as your assistant. Yes, we answer as the assistant of your team. So there's brand identity from the jump. Alex asks, is this 600 addition to your current marketing we have? It doesn't need necessarily be additional. You could take your current marketing budget and move it over to this. We recommend with any new product that you allocate some additional dollars because you want to try it out. You don't want to mess with your current marketing that's working, right? But if you wanted to, basically take your existing budget and apply to this, you can do that. That's totally fine. Um, and another question. Oh, you don't need to talk to an expert if you just want to sign up. We're going to still call you to make sure you get onboarded correctly. But if you want to just start using the product and getting us into onboarding, just scan the QR code on your left. If you actually want to talk to someone and learn more nuances about the product and how it could work, scan the QR code to your right.
Well,
So
and
trying
I
to give you two pathways here. Yeah.
Yeah, and I think, just thinking through as a business owner, if I said to you, hey, $600 for 4 inbound phone calls, that's really pretty incredible for someone that's looking for a realtor. And, if it were me, guys, when I got that call, I don't care what real estate related need they had. I'm going to take that call and I'm going to schedule a face-to-face appointment. So what I'm doing right now is teaching you guys how to monetize this product because a lot of you are buying it right now and I want you to get an ROI. When you get these calls, these are people that are going to have really good questions about selling a home or buying a home. And I just want you to say, that's a fantastic question, answer their question, and then take it a step further. My other clients really appreciated it when we sat down to go over the process. I think you'll gain a lot of insight by seeing some additional materials that I have. Now, I like to do these appointments Wednesday afternoons or Saturday mornings, but I can be flexible. What works best for you? The data is super clear. 70% of people buyers work with the first agent that they meet. With sellers, with this product, they're going to be calling you and they're going to tell you they're thinking about selling. They just wanted to get some information. What you do is you tell them, I need to stop by your house. I need to look at your home. I don't want you fixing things that aren't going to get you a return on investment. And I can only do this walkthrough when you're not ready to actually sell. If you wait to be ready to sell, I'm not going to be able to do this. So I'm letting you guys know you're going to get some leads that are like, can you come over Tuesday? I'm interviewing agents. That's great, right? And presents a whole different set of problems. But for the ones that just want information, push for that face-to-face appointment.
100%. Yeah, and I see a couple comments about Google My Business Profile. If your Google My Business Profile sucks right now, that is fine. We're going to fix it for you, right? Part of what we're doing here is making sure your Google My Business Profile looks really good. If you have no reviews, obviously we're going to ask you to go out to some people and get like 2 to 5 or whatever, right?
Right.
But, baseline part one is we improve your GMB to make sure that it looks really good from a landing page perspective, right? So that's just something we work with you guys on, right? Um, and again, I don't want to confuse folks. This is not a cost per lead product. You don't pay Google on a per lead basis. You pay Google $600 of media, and we are getting you clicks, and that results into phone calls. Our average is 150 bucks, right? Some markets higher, some markets lower. Like last week, it was like $80, which is phenomenal. We want to we want to optimize it to as low as possible, right? But and that may improve over time, or it could increase because a lot more people are coming into the market and doing this just like we are on your behalf. But it's an average against media managed, right? So you could get more or less than that, hopefully less, and we're just managing it against it. And it's just the typical Google game where a San Francisco lead is going to be more expensive than Albuquerque, New Mexico, right? So have that in mind. But it is us managing the media backing into an average of what we're seeing around 150 bucks right now.
Yeah. Yeah, it's a great opportunity. And I think,
Yeah,
super gracious to give people some time to avoid having to pay that additional fee just to get exposed to the product. Really,
yeah.
really good stuff.
I see a question in the math here. So, like, how many calls you get is a function of how much you spend, right? If you spend $3,000 a month, you're going to get around 20 calls, right? If you spend $1,000 a month, you're going to get 7 calls, right? So it's a purely math equation of how much media you are spending. Now, what's great about Google Maps is even if you wanted to spend $3,000 a month in LSA, you might only spend $200, right? This is not something you can control for the most part. You know, you can optimize all you want, but there's just limited inventory. If you went to Google Maps and you said, I want to spend $3,000 in a month, chances are you're going to be able to spend $3,000 a month, right? So it's just a lot more volume and leverage that you can get from a management perspective.
Yeah, makes total sense.
Awesome. Well, if you have any other questions, fill them in. If not, we can end early. So do we need no longer need LSA if we sign up for this? Look, for the $350 management fee, we are managing your LSA anyways, right? You guys saw the math here. You know, let me zoom back, right? At a $60 cost per lead in 5 months, we're seeing a 2% conversion rate. If you do the math there, that's still pretty ROI positive, right? Like I think it's probably a 250 to $300 return on investment, right? So if you can get LSA leads, you totally should, right? The problem with LSA is you only can get so many of at bats at those leads, and this is a additional channel for you to get similar quality leads but at a higher volume, right? So I wouldn't say stop your LSA marketing. You know, I would just say layer this on top, right? If for some reason your LSA spend is not a returning ROI, then of course you should move over to Maps advertising, right? But I think in most clients that we talk to on LSA, they're very happy with their lead conversion. Their problem is getting enough leads, and this solves that problem.
Makes total sense.
Awesome. Well, cool. Glad you guys attended. We got actually great attendance for this webinar for post fourth. So really appreciate all of that, guys. Flash the QR code for, 10 minutes there. So if you are interested, I'm sure you captured it. If you have any questions here, reach out to the team. Oh, I see one more question here. What are the questions that are asked prior to the transfer? So that's like very nuanced. We're not asking them a set number of questions because, like you guys saw, someone was like, I'm asking about the seller deed. I'm asking about, XYZ specific question. So we're not going in there and saying, are you looking to buy within 6 months? Are you looking to sell in 6 months? Every conversation is nuanced, but we train our reps to send over the leads that are qualified, that are legitimately concerned about real estate. And yeah, we scrub out rentals, we scrub out all of those as well. And so I can't tell you there's like two vetting questions that we ask on every single call, but they all are going to be calls that we transfer over based on our validation criteria. Exactly what those criteria are, I know we have a list, I just don't have it in front of me. But if you want to talk to your Google Live transfer expert, they can go over that with you. How soon after you start are people getting on leads? If we can get your GMB page set up and basic configurations done, you get leads right away. Yeah, this is not a ramp up period type situation. We start
Yeah.
spending the dollars, you get the leads, right? And so obviously it can take 15 to 30 days for us to optimize your campaign, but we're going to start spending those dollars and getting, traction on this right away. Yes, this prez will be sent out in a recording after this webinar as well. Uh, okay, I think we got it, Barry.
Yeah, no, amazing.
All
That's great.
right.
All
Thanks,
right,
everyone.
sounds
Really
good.
appreciate it. Email us if you have any questions. We'll talk soon.
All right, thanks, guys.
Bye.